Okay, so what we have here is we're doing a 2-point perspective grid for a room that 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. So we're going to measure everything out in 1/2 inches. So the first, you have a step-by-step here. The numbers may change because they may change some of these in here depending on how we do today. But right now, cut a long piece of tracing paper and secure it to your drafting table using masking tape or dots. Using a sharp red colored pencil about 10 inches from the top. It really doesn't matter. I mean, you can about see where I am here. My paper is this big, and I'm going across right about in here. So I'm going to draw a red line going all the way across using this red color pencil. If you don't have a red color pencil, do not worry about it. Go ahead and just draw a line across, and that's all you need. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I have a real grid underneath this that you probably can't see, and I'm using it to guide me a little bit. So we're going to mark this the GL, and this is your ground line. This is the floor line, the actual floor of your grid. So that is number 3. Mark the ground line, GL. Still using a red color pencil, draw an 8-inch vertical line from the ground line toward the top of your paper. Remember to use your scale 1/2 inch. So I've got my scale, it's marked in red right there. And right about in here, I'll use a triangle. I'm going to measure up measure up to here. We're only doing that's actually not correct. I have to use this side. Sorry about that. I'm doing 1/2 inch, not 1/4 inch. So I'm going to go up 8 inches, starting at 0, and that's where I want my red line. So now I'm going to draw my red line. And now I'm going to measure this red line, vertical line off at 1/2 inch. Might be better if I use a regular pencil to measure it off with, because red on red doesn't show up very good. And I am going to measure off each and every one of these. Okay, so there they are. Now I can number those 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm doing this at 8 as the from floor to ceiling is 8 feet. If you want to do it 10 feet, you would have to add on another 2 feet to it to make it 10 feet high. Or if you're doing like a tiny house and you have it set at maybe it's 15 feet high, so just whatever the height is of it, it's what you want to do. The back wall. This right here is your true height line. So you can mark it THL if you want to. THL, true height line. Okay, so that is number 4. That was 3 and, well, let's see, that one was 3. This one is step 4. So I can do number 4. And I'll circle this one as number 3. Okay, mark each foot on the true height line and number the marks. Okay, we did that already. On the ground line, mark off 20 feet on the left of the THL, so that's going this way, and 15 on the right, going this way. Again, using a 1/2 inch on your scale. So I'm going to use 1/2 inch, and I'm going to tick off. These have to be pretty accurate, so you make sure that you're taking your time Make your tick mark small, but straight. Try and be as accurate as you can. When you bump it, you have to kind of move it back. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, so there's 20. I'm not, let's see, does it say to number these? I forget. Mark each foot and number them. You'll start with 0 to each. Okay, so this is, I'm going to do it above it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do this little. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and I already did 20. Now I'm going to do 15 on the right side of it. Okay, so I'm going to pull it back to 15. And I'm going to start with 15 at the 0. Okay, there's 15 of them. And I already have a 0 on the line right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, why is it good to number them? Well, that way you know you've marked off the correct ones, and plus it'll help you keep track of where you're at. And that's number 7. Number 8, using a blue color pencil, draw a horizontal line all the way across the page at the 5 mark tick. And you all know why, because that is going to be your horizon line. So if you'll hold a second, I need to get a blue pencil here. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. Let's just grab one here. Okay. We're using China blue. We're going to sharpen it. You want to make sure that your pencils are sharp when you do this. Dull pencil is going to be harder for you to be more accurate. So at number 5, at 5 on the true height line right here, at 5, we're going to draw a blue line all the way across the page. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this blue line. Go farther out. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I have a blue line there, and that is my horizon line. So we're going to mark this as HL. It's also called your eye level line. Okay, so using a blue color pencil, draw a horizon line all the way across the page at the 5 foot tick mark, and mark it HL for horizon line. Remember that you can do 5 foot, 5'3", or 5'6". Today we're just using 5 foot. It's just easier. And I got my audio cord in my way here. Okay, that is number 9. Well, number 8 actually. It's number 8. Sorry, number 8. Number 9. Your station point must lie directly below the true height line. Use your T-square and a triangle to find the length of the true height line. The farther away this gets, the shorter your drawing will appear. Note, try doing this from the horizon line and from the ground line. Always make sure make a note on your grid where you measured it from. Okay, and I'll explain that to you in a second. You want to draw the line so it is 3 to 4 times the length of your true height line. Okay, so your length of your true height line right now is is 8 feet. So if I want to do it 3 to 4 times, I'm going to do it at, let me see if I have, I hope I have enough room on my table here for what I just did. Let's see, I think I should. So I've got 16. I'm going to go to 16. Here, just put a little dot there. And I'm going to go another 8. Oh, I've got plenty of space here. I'm going to go 3 times. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put this T-square right here. I'm going to put it on 8. I put a little dot there, so I'm measuring down. Remember, it has to be directly underneath. So here is, I'm just putting a dot, just a dot, 3 times. And I did that from, I did it from the horizon line. So 3 times, 8, measure down using the 1/2 inch, measure down. So here's where my, I didn't have to draw a line. Notice I didn't draw a line. I just put a blue dot there. And I'm going to put SP there. That's your station point. Your station point. And that is number 9. Okay. Mark this spot as your station point. This is where you're standing in the room. Using your 45 degree, I have my 45 degree right here. Your triangle and a T-square mark a spot on the horizon line from the SP. Do this doing both left and right. Note that you can change this, but you should have at least a total of 90 degrees. Mark the right, your VPR, and the left VPL. Okay, so this means here's what you're doing. You're going to take this, your triangle. I'm going to take the triangle. I'm going to be easier to use my other triangle. Hang on a sec. It's a bigger boy. Okay, now see how big my triangle is? It goes all the way from my station point, and it goes all the way up to my horizon line. So I'm going to put a little blue dot there, and then I'm going to flip this bad boy over, put it back on the station point. I'm not drawing a line, I'm just making a dot. So I have 3 blue dots. I have a blue dot here on the right side, I have a blue dot down here at my station point, and I have a blue dot up here. So I'm going to call this one is my vanishing point, so VPR, because this is vanishing point right, and this one over here is going to be vanishing point left, vanishing point left. Okay, now know that what it's saying is if I have 45 degrees going this way and I have 45 degrees going this way, that gives me a total of 90 degrees. And those are number 10. Number 10. On the horizon line, mark a measuring point MP1 on the left and MP2 on the right. That's going to be again on your horizon line. Note the measuring points must not lie within the confines of the proposed room area. That means it can't be inside. Here's my proposed room area right here and here, and I can't be inside of that. So I want to stay on the outside of my vanishing points. So I'm going to mark, and this is arbitrary. So I'm just going to mark one right here, and I'm going to put, oh, hang on a sec, one second. Oh, somehow my vanishing point got in closer. I'm going to measure it out a little bit here. Okay, hang on. 1 minute. keep that right there. And I'm going to go, this is going to be my MP P2, and this is going to be right here. I'm just going to choose here my MP L. Again, I'm just going to glance. Okay. Double check my, yep, okay. Okay, so this is a measuring point. I'll explain this a little bit later on, what these are. It's hard to describe right now, but these are going to be your measuring points. And we're only going to use these once, and then we're not going to use them ever again. We're going to X them out or erase them, okay? So that is number 12. 12 and number 12. Okay. Using a sharp green color pencil, draw a ceiling and floor lines going from both left and right vanishing points to the top and the bottom of the true height line. Okay, let me grab a green one here. I should have been better prepared. Grab a green one. Okay. Sharpen it. Oh, shoot, I broke it. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go from my, and I think I'm going to use my, sometimes it's easier to use your T-square because these are really long places that you're measuring from. You're going from, make sure you're going from your vanishing points, not your measuring points, okay? So you're going from your vanishing points, and you're going to the top of this, to the top of the true height line, and you draw a green line going out. Okay, and I'm going to go from my vanishing point left. I'm going to draw a line going out. Now I'm going to do the same thing from the floor line. Let's see, so this one was number 13. Number 13. Then we're going to do same thing on the floor. Again, making sure that you're doing this from your vanishing point, not your measuring point. Oh, skip the line. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to do it here. Okay, now if you look at this, you'll be able to see that we have your true height line, which is red, your floor line and your ceiling lines, which are green. And now we have to figure out how to get the grids going up the walls, okay? So let's find out what it says here. This is number 13. And this one over here is number 13. Okay, we just 13. From the measuring point 1, which is your left one, and your measuring point 2, which I have it right here, at the intersection of the foot marks on these little foot marks that you did 20 of them here and you did 15 of them here. You're going to go from that to this. You're not drawing a line, you're just making a tick. And I'm going to use just a regular pencil for this, just a regular pencil, graphite pencil. And so I'm going to take a triangle. I am going to go from, make sure it's the measuring point you're using and not the vanishing point. So from the measuring point to the tick mark, and I'll put a little slice through the tick mark at 20, and then I'll put 1 on the floor. It looks like my grid's going to be different than the one underneath. That's okay. Each one of them is going to come out a little different. I think I'm going to use my bigger one here. It's a little, this one reaches a little bit better. And I'll get my T-square out of the way. And you want to put a tick mark through it so you can see that you actually went through it. And did the tick. Tick, tick. Back up. This takes a little bit of time, you guys, to make sure that you're right. I like to check both of them. I'm going to tick this one, tick this one. Yeah, this is coming out a lot different than my other one, so it's underneath it. Ticks. It's a lot of little tick marks. They're going to get narrower as they get closer to the back true height line, okay? Each one of these should be a little bit narrower each time. Oops. 9. Don't try and rush this. 8. Remember to make sure they're both on your spots that you want, the measuring point 1 and the tick mark has to be lined up really good. So you kind of have to hold your triangle very carefully. Oops, I missed that one. There we go. 3. These are getting a lot narrower as they go back. 2 and 1. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this side using the measuring point, and I can start in this front if I want to. Make sure you're on it. Slice through the tick mark and onto the green. Set up for 2. Slice through the tick mark and onto the green. Number 3. This is really the hardest part of this whole project right here. After this, it's a piece of cake. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. I think I kind of like my grid that's underneath it better, but it just depends. Everybody's is going to be different, and each one you do is going to be different. Depends on where you place your MPs, your MP1 and your MP2. It has to be outside of the room area, so I like to keep it on the opposite side of the vanishing points. You can experiment with it though. Oops, I missed 11. See, that's one reason you want to go through the tick mark on the red line too. Just a tick mark. You're just doing tick marks. You're really not drawing lines, so. Not quite lined up. Perfect. I hope. Let me check that again. I don't like that one very much. I thought it was good. Okay, there we go. I'm going to erase that one. It doesn't take a whole lot to really mess this up, but okay, so now I have all my tick marks done. I'm going to erase that one little one there. I hate these pink erasers. Okay, I'm going to put this line back in. Okay, all right. So that's number 14. All right. Now we're going to go to, now we want to X these out. So you don't use them anymore. You want to X those out so you don't accidentally use those. I mark off the MP and I mark off the tick mark. So you're not going to use, that's all you wanted those for. All right. Line up the VPL to each tick mark you just made in step 14 and draw a line from the green floor line. Now check your lines and see if they are going larger to smaller before moving on to do the same thing from the VPR. Okay, so from the VPL on the floor, we're doing this on the floor. From the green floor line. Okay, so we're going to go from here. We're going to flip my T-square over so it lays flat. Now we're not using the one on the red line anymore. Understand this. We are not using the one on the red line anymore. That's all we needed this for. We're done with the red line. We're now going to measure from the VPL to the ones we just made on the green floor line, and we're going to bring them out onto the floor. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to go here to, don't forget, you're not using the red, you're using the green. And this is going to be so different than the one I have underneath this. I'm just going to bring it out. You don't have to come out. Actually, if you do this, if you do it on this side, and then you do it on this side, and you go through this one, that shows you where to stop your lines at. So I'm going to line this up with this one. And again, we're using a regular graphite pencil. And now we can see where this ends at, okay? Where this one and this one meet, that's our ending point. Okay, from here to this next one. There's that one. There's this one. Remember, we're not using the red anymore. We are using the green line. No more red line. We're using the red line just to measure. That's it. And as these go farther back towards the back wall, they are going to get narrower and narrower, and they should do it evenly all the way. If one is bigger than the one before it, it's not going to be correct. And you have to double check all the time that you have your T-square in the right spot there, and that you're on the right spot here. And sometimes you have to double check it twice. If you really want to be accurate, take your time. I might be going a little bit fast because we're an audio. Okay, there we go. And it looks pretty good. I think I have one or two that might be a little tiny bit off. This one looks kind of a little bit smaller than the one in front of it. That wouldn't be good, but we're going to keep continuing on because I've got to. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing from the other side. So we're going to take and make sure it's on the VPR. And then I'm going to go to number 1 on the green line, again, on the green line. And you need to sharpen your pencil, then sharpen your pencil, okay? No more red line. Go to the very last one. This grid is going to be different than the one that's underneath it, and that's okay. I mean, that one looks a little bit off. It's not going to be my best grid. I'm trying to do it too fast, but you guys are going to get the point. It's better to have different grids using different measure. Oh, I bumper dumpered. Oh, well, that one's definitely off. It moved my T-square. You have to be really careful not to move your T-square. You're going to end up with a whoopo. I got a big whoopo. I always like to go back to the vanishing point with my pencil to double check it. It's in the right spot. Try and hold it steady with your left hand so it doesn't move on you when you're pushing your pencil along. Okay, so now there's my floor line. Now it's not perfect because I have definitely, this one here is wrong. And it's partly because of that one there is wrong because of my whoopa. But you understand, you saw what I was doing, this way and this way. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to go up. Oh, we got to go by the numbers here. So that was 15 we just did. Draw a line from the 20-foot corner of the green floor line to the ceiling line. So in other words, we're going to take this guy right here, that's on this one right here, our last one we did, we're going to go up to the ceiling line, the green ceiling line. And then you can do the same thing on this side. So wherever we ended this one, we're going to go from this green all the way up to the green. Okay, so there's our 2 side walls. Kind of looks crooked, but it's not. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and go to 16 and 17. So we'll go 16. This is 17. This is 16. Okay, 16, 17. Line up from the vanishing point right to the top line made in 17. This is your ceiling line. Okay. From your vanishing point, I'm going to use the big guy again. And I'm going to go from the vanishing point on the right to the number 17. When we did 17, I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm just going to draw a line up. I'm going to do the same thing from over here. I'm going to go from here. Remember, it's vanish. We're going from the vanishing point. There we go. All right, now we can see the whole room. You can see that you have the floor, you have this back wall, this side wall, and then you have the ceiling up here. And we're gonna now grid those off. So we did 18 and 19. So this is 18 and 19. Number 18 and number 19. So now what you do is you check this square right here to see if the diamond looks good. Mine doesn't look as good as my other one does. I like the one underneath this much better, but again, it's still okay. It's still going to work out all right. It's just going to give me a different type of visual, all right? That's number 20, is just checking that visual. The more distorted it looks, the more distorted your cubes will be in the room. Draw a vertical line from each floor line tick to the green line. Okay, so now we're going to do the back walls. And this is, we're doing number 21 right now. So all these little tick marks that we made along here and along here are going to go up. This is now it gets real easy, you guys. I mean, this is nothing. This is easy. The hard part is being accurate. That's why most students have to start over, just like my WUBA that I did. So these are going to be a little off too. If the floor line's off, my wall lines will be off too. But again, I'm recording, so I'm just going to keep on moving on. As long as you guys are getting the steps, I want you to do it slowly, more accurate. This one is going to be smaller than this one by a long shot. And let's see what happens here. It's also looking kind of confusing for me because I put my other one underneath it for me to go by, but didn't quite work out as I planned. That's not too bad. I have one that looks kind of off there, but again, if you're off, start over. Just try it again. The more times you do this, like see, this one here is bigger than this one here, and it shouldn't be. It should get smaller as they go back. So that means that one was off. And my last two, and definitely number 2 is, doesn't look too bad. It's not perfect. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Go up, go up. Again, you know what I talked to you about the first one, the 1-point perspective we did. The ceiling can very often be off on a grid. It's the last thing that we do. Connecting them all up isn't always as accurate as what we'd like. Just do your best. I don't worry about the ceiling lines too much unless I'm doing something special on a ceiling. That one looks way off. Maybe not. Always make sure that your T-square is up against the table, or you'll have to start over. And we're almost done. This is really quick. Well, I shouldn't be going as fast as I am. If I was doing this for real, I'd be spending a lot more time, but okay, there I am. Now we are going to, that was number 20. Boy, it really wears your pencils down fast. Okay. 21, draw vertical lines from each floor line. Draw vertical lines from each floor line foot tick mark to the green lines at the top. We did that one. Yep, we did that one. From the VPL, go to each foot mark on and draw horizontal lines on the right wall. Okay. I might reword that. I don't like it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make on the right wall. So this is your right wall over here. So we're going to take and go through the tick marks that you made on the true height line. And we're going to draw these out. Make sure that you're on the VPL and not the measuring line. Now you already have 5 done, so the 5 foot is the blue line, so you don't need to redraw it. And there's 4, and there's 3, and there's 2, and there is 1. Okay, there's now my right wall's all done, and I can do the other wall. So I'm going to do the same exact thing, but I'm going to go from the vanishing point right. We already have 5 done, so we'll move to 4, to 3, to 2, and then to 1. And now we have floor, left wall, right wall. And the only thing we have left to do now would be the ceiling. And the ceiling is just going from, one that fits me here. This one will work. We're going to go to each one of these marks on this wall here and draw those out. So you draw each one of these. Again, don't be surprised if the ceiling is off. And unless you're doing something special, don't sweat it too much. Make sure you go to each one of them. These are going to get tighter. These are going to be a lot tighter than they are on the floor, okay? So they're going to be snugged up against each other pretty good. I'm having to stretch really far. I'm going to have to change over to this guy here. Ooh, getting really, really tight in there. There we go, closer and closer and closer they go. And there we go. Same thing from going the other way. Now we're going to go along these tick marks that are here. Oop, see, it moved on me. Try and be as accurate as you can be. Sometimes it's better to take and erase your MP1 and your MP2, totally erase it off so you don't accidentally use it instead of your vanishing point left and vanishing point right. I'm getting graphite all over my husband's shirt. He's not going to be happy. Three more lines and we're done. And there I go. Ta-da! I now have, get out of here. I now have a grid. Maybe not a perfect grid, but I have a grid. See how this one, see, where are you? There's one right in here. I've got up, up, up. This one here. This one right here. See how this one right here is incorrect. See how it's much bigger than it should be. So, but overall, the walls don't look too bad. And I do like my one on the underneath this much better, but there's your grid. Ta-da. Oh, I do want to explain one thing. The MP1 and the MP2, again, it has to be outside of this here. And it's better to be outside of your vanishing point left and your vanishing point right. Just a little bit outside of them is good. It'll work out just fine. Bye-bye.